gay marriage and state B doesn't, and you live in state B, and you're gay and you want to get married, then you have the freedom to either abide by the rules in that state or move to state A. That's your freedom. That's your choice. That is what freedom is all about. That is what our forefathers and our founding fathers set up. Restoration. Religion. Restore freedom of religion. No attacking somebody because they choose to worship this way or that way. Doesn't matter whether you want to worship Allah, God, Jesus Christ, or a head of cabbage. As long as the practice of your religion does not infringe upon the rights of others, you will be free to practice that religion the way you see fit. No more legislating morality. A free society, left free, will always gravitate towards morality. You don't need to legislate it. A little bit of background on me just to make this point. I'm a recovering addict. When I lived in my parents' home and I was a practicing addict, the more I was told not to do drugs, the more drugs I did. Once I was free, out from under the dictatorship of my parents, and began managing my own life, I came to the conclusion I was going to jail, I was going to be institutionalized because of breaking the law, or I was going to die, or live miserable. I chose, in my freedom, to get away from the drugs and the alcohol. Society, as a whole, chooses the same. There's no reason to legislate morality. Now the sticky point. The big thing that's facing the country right now. We want to transition the government out of the business of running the economy. Turn it back over to the free market. It worked for many, many years in this country, and it only got screwed up when the government got involved. Constitutionally, I don't believe there's any way to fix the quagmire that we've gotten ourselves into. But I also know bailing out the corporations who, along with Congress, got us into this situation, using our tax dollars, is not the answer. My proposal, as we transition back to the Constitution, is to set up what Roosevelt did in the 30s, which is government loans at a rate of 3 or 4% for those folks in danger of losing their home. My memory serves me correct, that program was shut down in 1951 and it had turned a profit for the taxpayers. Folks that are in danger of losing their home will have a 7-month window in which to apply for these loans. At the end of that 7 months, it'll be closed down. If the economy is fit to close it down at that point. If they default on the 3% loan, then the government will repossess the home. And they will sell it the same way that you as an individual would sell it, with a real estate agent. The government's in no hurry to sell it. We don't need to auction it off for a fraction of the price and take a loss on it. We'll put it on the market at a fair price, sell it. Any proceeds over and above what's owed on the loan will go to the homeowner that lost the home. They make their payments on time, they keep their house. At a later date, the government can choose to sell that paper to a bank at the same interest rate that the homeowner currently has, which will be 3 or 4%, or they can hold the note. The government can hold the note until the end of the 30 years, and then that's it, cut off, boom, it's done. Now, this next proposal, and a lot of the other proposals, Congress is not going to go for. because of the quagmire that we find ourselves in. And that is term limits. One of the things is term limits. Every government, you go back 2,000, 5,000 years, whatever, every government has had murder, corruption, and intrigue. Our government is no different. I believe term limits and getting rid of these career politicians will be a huge step in the right direction in the restoration plan. Restoration plan that I've laid out as anywhere, depending upon whether it's taxes or phasing out these different agencies of the government or exiting the world stage with our military, has a transition period of anywhere between 6 months to 12 years before we can fully restore ourselves to the Constitution. Some of these things Congress is not going to go for. One is term limits. Nobody wants to vote themselves out of their job. 2 terms for senators, 1 term for a House of Representatives. No more career politicians. Career politicians are what got us where we're at in some respects with the special interest groups and the corruption. So, under Presidential Directive 51, if you don't know what it is, Google it. It's basically continuity of government. For a 72-hour period, I will set up a dictatorship. The military will be instructed that if that lasts longer than 72 hours, that I am to be terminated. My last act, during that period of time, that 72 hours, I will do all the things that Congress will not do to restore us to the Constitution. Abolish the IRS, Department of Education, these other government agencies, these social programs. Cut the pork, kill the pig, baby. Cut the pork out of it. Get rid of these social programs like the scholarship funds and all these different things that once the American citizens have the ability to donate to, has been proven time and time again, Americans are generous. Every major calamity throughout the world, we've donated our money to. And we'll donate it to things that need donated at home as long as we have it, and with the reduction of the taxes through the federal sales tax that I'm proposing, we will have it to donate. So we don't need the government social programs. So during that 72 hours, I'll get rid of those. I'll also enact the term limits. My last act during that 72 hours will be to abolish Presidential Directive 51. So no dictatorship will ever be set up in this country again. The road to recovery and restoration will be difficult. It will require all of us to work together and take responsibility for our own lives. And in some regards, for that of our neighbor who may be less fortunate. But through the will of the American people, we can restore this nation. And finally, we will have an independent investigation into the events that happened in 9/11. All classified documents will be declassified. They will be turned over to an independent investigation team. And those found responsible, whether they're on our soil or foreign soil, will be brought to justice. If they're Americans that were involved in that, if found guilty for treason, they will be executed. If we find that it was foreigners, as the official story states, through diplomatic means, we will bring those people to justice. Again, it's going to be a long and arduous journey, but I believe that we can do this together. Thank you, and good night.